Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Chris, and on today's video we're going to talk about the entire fragrance range of Balmain. So this range has just launched. It is actually being marketed by Estee Lauder and it's Balmain Beauty, and they have launched an entire range of fragrances. Now, I did get a sample set, so they did have an ad on Instagram, and I ordered this entire little set. This is how it comes in this beautiful little box, and it says Balmain Paris. At the back, you get all of your information here. Now, these are really expensive, you guys. They are for 50 mils, 1.7 fluid ounces. The cost is 300 US dollars. Keep in mind, for example, Louis Vuitton, which is going to be 330, gives you 100 mils. So it's a lot of money. And these are marketed by Estee Lauder. Estee Lauder has a kind of fame for doing the same thing whenever they launch Tom Ford's fragrance range. So let's go ahead and review them to see what we think of them. I'm going to smell all of them and give you my thoughts and opinions on them. So when you order the set, this is how it comes. You get all of your little vials. They are 5 mils each. They did send me a couple of extra samples. These are also 5 mils of 2 separate fragrances. So you do get samples whenever you do order from the Balmain website. The box you see behind me here on this side actually is the Balmain box that it was shipped in. It was obviously in another box, and they put this one inside with ribbon and all that stuff. Not the prettiest packaging because I'm not a big fan of Balmain's new logo. I like the traditional where it says Balmain Paris, but there's another one that actually you can see it right here. You see that? That looks more like a G than a B to me. But so this range is taking the route that Celine did. And what I mean by that is they're launching this entire range of fragrances like Celine did as the inspiration of the in-house creative director. So in this case, it's Olivier Roussy. For Celine, it was Hedi Simon. So there's no credited perfumer for any one of these fragrances, just like Celine did not do that. I think we're going in that route. A lot of fragrance houses are starting to do that. I don't really like that. I know some people have their opinions that they are just technicians, but these people work and train their entire life to create these masterpieces. To not get any credit for them, I think is a little shady of the brands myself, in my little opinion here. So let's start off with the first one that we have here, and this one is going to be Vent Vert, which is going to be a very beautiful emerald green bottle. The campaign for this is very beautiful. The imagery for all of these fragrances is just stunning. I mean, Balmain is one of those fashion houses that really knows their aesthetic currently. And it's just very sexy, very high quality. Not quiet luxury, it's kind of more in that Versace type of range, but more edgy, more refined, if you will. So this one is going to be a fragrance that is going to be obviously green because the name does state it's a green scent. But we get some very interesting notes. We get basil, we get blackcurrant, we get fig leaf, cardamom, green mandarin, as well as jasmine, musk, and spearmint. This one you can kind of tell that Estee Lauder's behind, because when I first sprayed it and in my notes that I was making, I wrote down fragrance it reminds me of is by Tom Ford, Verboen. Now, this one takes its own little approach to it. There is no magnolia listed in this fragrance, but there is jasmine. There are a lot of the same notes in this fragrance, and it does take a lot of inspiration from that fragrance. This one's going to be more fig related. So there's fig in this fragrance, making it a little bit more fruity, a little bit lighter, a little bit more day-to-day and easy to wear. Is this a fragrance that is worth $300 for 50 mils? Yeah, I think this one's a good one. I think you can make this into a staple fragrance. If you don't like green gleaming scents, then you're not gonna like this fragrance. So if you're not a fan of these type of fragrances, definitely skip out on this one. The next one we have is called Rouge, which obviously translates into red. And the bottle is gonna be, as you have guessed it, red with a gold label on it. And this fragrance is exactly what you'd think it is if you have smelt any other red bottles from any other designers. So for example, Giorgio Armani makes a red bottle called Rouge Malachite. It smells like that. It also smells similar to Jasmine Rouge by Tom Ford. Not that it's a copy or a carbon copy of those fragrances, but it does have that same style, which is going to be a white floral with some spices in it. Now this one takes a little bit more of the earthy approach to it, but it does have that same blueprint for a fragrance. Because of that, it's not the most revolutionary thing out there. And if you're gonna spend this much money on it, I would actually suggest for you to go and get the Armani one because you're gonna get a bigger bottle. It is a little bit more potent, but this fragrance is very nice, almost has an ambery accord to it. It's floral, but it's sexy. It is gonna be a beautiful scent. I think that this one will be popular and that it will sell a lot, but at the same time, with the price point, I think you are better off getting something like, for example, Rouge Malachite by Giorgio Armani. Yes, it's expensive, but yes, it also comes in a larger size. The next one I have is called Ivory, and this one comes in a transparent bottle. The liquid is a very ambery type of color. The notes for this are the most interesting out of this entire range, I have to say. So the notes that we get here are grapefruit, orange blossom, suede, tuberose, turmeric, and vetiver. All of those notes would be in combination with other fragrance notes. They wouldn't be in combination with each other, and because of that, it's a very unique fragrance. Now, it does remind you a little bit just because of the suede. I'm not saying that it's a carbon copy of White Suede by Tom Ford, but it does have that reminiscence of it because of that white suede or that suede type of smell in this fragrance. This one has a little bit more of a vibrancy to it. It's going to be a very unique scent. It almost has a candy-like background note to the fragrance itself. It's nice, it's beautiful, it is unique. But I will say that if you're looking for one that's going to have a lot of potency and longevity, this one is not it, because I did just spray this one. It is dying out. Now, it's not super weak, but at least out of the entire range, this is going to be one of the ones that's going to be a little bit more white. The next one we have is Carbon, and this is going to be a black bottle with a gold label and black font. Out of the entire range, this is the most boring one to me. It's beautiful, it's nice, it has rosy elements, it's smoky elements inside of it. It's a very nice ambery scent, but we've smelled this before. It's been done before. There's nothing different about it. I think it's beautiful, it's nice, it's sexy, it's refined, it's very Balmain, but I'm sure you can find something similar with a different range, especially if you're going to somewhere like Kilian or Tom Ford, which coincidentally are two fragrance houses that are under Estee Lauder as well. Because of that, it's not one that I would say is a must purchase. Notes that you get in this fragrance are going to be cumin, patchouli, rose absolute, sandalwood, suede, and white musk. So a very beautiful, lovely combination of notes. It's very expensive, it's very luxurious, it's very nice, but it does smell like something that Tom Ford would have launched. Just because of that, I don't know how unique this fragrance is, but if you're looking for something like this, go ahead and smell it because it is lovely, it is impactful. The next one we have is Sel de Umbre, which is the amber fragrance in this range. It comes in a gold bottle with a black sticker and gold font. So probably the prettiest bottle. It's a little glitzy, it's a little bit much, it's a little gaudy, but it's a very nice bottle as well. All of the bottles are actually inspired from old bottles that Balmain has used before in the 1940s. So this is not a new design. They have brought it back, obviously, to pay homage to its heritage as a fashion label. This one itself is probably the one that they're pushing quite a bit. This one and Carbon, it looks like, are their top and showcasing as an actual brand. This is an amber scent, true and true. It has amber, ambergris, amber 83, accord, registered trademark, synthetic, frankincense, orange, as well as rookery tea inside of it. Now, this one came off a little harsh whenever I first sprayed it. I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. And then for some reason, as I was doing notes, I started to see and smell something slightly in the background. I'm like, God, that leaves a beautiful trail as a fragrance, and it truly does. It's a little strong, it's a little bit much when you first spray it, but give it a shot. Spray it on your skin instead of paper, and you'll start to see it come alive because it's a very beautiful scent. The ambergris really complements that amber in it. The frankincense really come alive in this, but they're very sexy, they're very seductive, and the fragrance overall is just phenomenal. It's not super unique. I mean, I don't think anything in this range is super unique, but I do think that this one itself is one of the must-haves or must-purchase. The next one we have is called Bronze, and it's obviously the color of bronze. This bottle is very beautiful, and the imagery is very impactful. There's like this naked model holding the bottle. I mean, It's very Tom Ford, don't you think, Tom? This fragrance is very nice. I do think it's one of the must-haves. I think it's one of the popular ones in this range as well, or will be one of the popular ones. The notes for this, let's take a look, are going to be black pepper, cedar, hay, jasmine, patchouli, and tobacco. Now, the unique thing is that there's no amber listed here, and this fragrance is very creamy, very ambery. It's expensive. This is luxury in a smell. I really think they hit the nail on the head with this one because it's very nice. It's very much to Balmain standards, and it's lovely. I think that if you want something that's going to become very creamy, very seductive, very sexy, or you're looking just for a staple date night fragrance, this is the perfect one in the range. It's probably one that I would consider buying a full-size bottle of. There's another one that we're going to talk about that I would also consider buying a full-size bottle of, but it's a very nice scent. The next one we have is called Ebony, and I have to say that this one, when I first sprayed it on, I was like, no, absolutely not. And then the dry down started to happen. Now, what I'm seeing in this range, just like we saw with Tom Ford when Tom Ford first launched his private blend range, is it's very harsh in the beginning. You're going to be like, I don't like it, I don't want to smell it, it's too much. As the dry down starts to happen is when these fragrances start to come alive. So if you get to go to the store or you go to a store that does carry this range, keep that in mind that you have to spray it and then walk around, let it, dry down, and then you start to see the true characteristics of the actual fragrance. This one itself is just lovely. I do think it's very nice. It's obviously an ebony wood fragrance, so it's going to be woody. It's going to have that smokiness to it as well. And there's an ambery accord. I think that's kind of the key with this fragrance range, is everything kind of has that creaminess, that amberiness behind it, making it very expensive and very luxurious. I do think that this is a beautiful scent. The notes for this are going to be cedar, ebony, frankincense, geranium, myrrh, and tobacco. I do notice that whenever you first spray this fragrance on, the geranium is very strong, it's very in your face, and because of that, I think some people will be scared of this fragrance. But obviously, give it a shot to dry down because, like I said, it will change quite a bit. The tobacco in here is just one of the best tobaccos I've smelled in fragrances in a long time. It is worth the money, but again, that's up to your discretion to decide if you want to spend 300 bucks on this fragrance. I do think it's a really nice one. I think it's staple worthy as well. And the last one we have is Bleu Infini, and I have to say that this is probably going to be the top selling one in this range because it's a blue scent that is just very unique. It's very beautiful. I know people will love this one. You spray it on, it smells good, it's likable, it's mass appealing, but it has that je ne sais quoi that really creates a beautiful, unique scent. Now this one itself is going to be in a blue bottle with a gold sticker and black font. It's a very beautiful cobalt color of blue, and I just have to say it's one of the, it's probably one that I really want to purchase myself. Now the notes for this are very interesting because you obviously get a blue scent, which is going to be very fresh, almost oceanic type, but you get Cistus Absolute, Clary Sage, Leech End, Oak Moss Absolute, and Pink Pepper. Now the oak moss in here is what makes this fragrance lovely. I think if you have watched my channel by now, you have figured out that oak moss is one of my favorite notes in perfumery. It just adds an extra expensive feeling to the fragrance overall, but without making it over the top or gaudy. And the oak moss in here is lovely. The clary sage, surprisingly, I have an issue with clary sage typically in fragrances, and I just don't like sage in general. In here, it works so well with the oak moss. It's very beautiful, it's very clean, it's very refined, it's aromatic, but it's expensive. It doesn't lose its appeal of being a very expensive, luxurious fragrance, and I think that's what you're getting in this fragrance overall. This is one, like I said, that I think everyone's going to love and enjoy, so I would say this is purchase a full bottle worthy fragrance. So what did you think about the Balmain range? Let me know in the comments if there's any of these that you would like me to do a full dedicated review for. I try to leave it as short as possible to not make this video super long, but this range is new, it's exciting. I think everyone, that loves perfumery and loves fashion was excited when they saw Balmain relaunch their fragrances, especially doing it with a powerhouse like Estee Lauder. So let me know down in the comments what your thoughts about this range are. Is there one that you have your eye on? Is there one that you want? Let me know down below. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for more fragrance related content. Until next time, I hope to see you then. Take care.